Hello everyone. Now we are starting with a new topic, that is big data, new tricks for econometric, reading number 97. So this topic is completely focused on the big data, that how we are going to use this big data and convert the data into an information. Now, on a daily basis we capture the huge amount of data, that is into millions and billions. Okay, and that data will be captured, will be stored at a place, and then we will use different tools and techniques in order to analyze the data, in order to find the relationship between these data. And there are many techniques such as regression, cross validation, then conditional inference tree, random forest, penalized regression. Means all the terms which I have just said now are the parts of the quants, that how we actually deal with the data. So in this topic, don't think that we will understand the process of each of the topic, but yes, we need to understand what the topic name is, what the tools and methods we are actually using to analyze the data, because the current issues don't want you to having the expertise in those quantitative techniques or tools, but yes, they want you to know about the issues with respect to these tools and techniques. So generally what we do, we will use the spreadsheet, and in the spreadsheet we organize the data, as well as we try to understand the data, try to find out the relationship among the data, and then based on those relationship we try to find out the inference, the information out of the data, and based on those information we take our decisions. We also use the structured query language, that is SQL database, and we are using this database basically for the smaller database. Means if there is a large database stored somewhere which includes the millions and billions of data, but out of these billions of data we will take out some of the data. Okay, I'm just taking the sample, and where I'm keeping that sample, where I'm analyzing that sample, into the SQL database. Now, one issues with respect to the big data is the storage. Okay, and we cannot store it on our computer, just a single computer. Then what we need to rent the computers from the vendors such as Amazon, Google, or Microsoft. They will provide us the huge space to store our data so that we can analyze them. Means the first step is to store the data. Clear? Now this topic will include three LOS. Okay, first LOS is about describe the issues unique to big data set. So first one is the storage. Now second issue, and it is a major issue with respect to the large data set, that is overfitting problem. Okay, this happens with our when we will be doing the linear regression. What happens when we are doing inside the sample, we are testing the data inside the sample, it comes out that okay, the data is showing the relationship between the independent variable and dependent variable, but when we'll try out with the out of the sample, the predictive ability of the model start decreasing. देख रहा हूँ मैं. कौन सा हाँ चाचा. So LOS is completely focusing on the tools and techniques needed for manipulating and analyzing the big data set. So I will point out few of the tools and techniques. Now for this we need to use the machine learning. Machine learning, this will utilize the process of regression, okay, to check if there is any linear relationship present between and among the data or not. Now inside this they can use different tools such as classification and regression tree, cross validation, conditional inference tree, random forest, and penalized regression. Clear? If there is some non-linear relationship exists. Okay. We can also utilize the binomial decision tree, means there can be the two options, default or no default. Okay, so binomial decision tree is also a one way to analyze the big data set. So we can convert the binomial decision tree into a regression, okay, where we will be using a logit regression where the output, or the we can say the values, can either be 0 or the value either can be 1. Now logit regression can only be useful when the data is small, but what if the data is very big? Then we have to use classification and regression tree analysis. Classification and regression tree analysis, that is CART, C-A-R-T. Now in the logit regression we can do the regression based on a single variable, okay, but when it comes to the classification and regression tree analysis, we can take upon the multiple variables, and based on those multiple variables we can do our analysis. Again, there is also the problem of the data. And why the problem exists? The problem exists because when we are creating the model with the sample, and when we are testing the model with out of the sample, the predictions are not reliable when the way we have created the model. Clear? So there always exists the problem of overfitting of the data. So now what is the solution of overfitting of the data? That is the cross validation. Solution for overfitting data issues is the cross validation. So we are using a method known as k-fold cross validation, and what we are doing in this method, we are actually dividing a large data set into the k number of subsets. Okay, it can be like making the 10 subset of 1000 data. Okay, so we are dividing the big data set into the number of subsets. The next method we have is the conditional inference tree. Now in the k-fold cross validation, to make it a perfect method, what we are doing, we are using a parameter, that is lambda, and that lambda is basically reducing the complexity of the data and minimizes the out of the sample error. Clear? But our C tree, that is conditional inference tree, it, with the help of this model, we have the option that we don't need to require the pruning or the turning parameters. Means we don't need to consider any additional parameter, just like we have considered the lambda with the k-fold cross validation. So how this conditional inference tree will begin? First of all, it start with the step that we need to test whether there is any correlation between the independent variable and the dependent variable, and choose those variable which will be having the strong correlation between the dependent and the independent variable. Then the second step is to split the variable into subset. Now we are using the cross validation section, that we are having the huge amount of data, and what we are doing, we are splitting the data into different data sets. And the last step is to repeat the process until you will be able to isolate the variables into the unique components. First, start with the testing and finding out if there is the independent variable and the dependent variable are correlated or not, and choose the variables which are highly correlated. Then split the variables, okay, into the two data subsets. Split the variables into two data subset and repeat this process until you isolate the variable into unique components. Next we can use is the random forest, and this is the one of the best method in order to do the prediction, in order to analyze the large data set. See, till now we have seen few issues with respect to the large data set, that they are not working properly. We need to divide them into different sets, but now we are using the random forest, and this will use the technique of the bootstrapping, and it grow a multiple tree from the large data set. Means the large data set is now converted to the different trees, and it also solve the issues of the out of the sample problem. Okay, How it is doing that? By averaging many small model produces a very good outfit, and from a large data set we can grow thousands of trees. So it start with the first step of the bootstrap sample. Means first of all there are suppose 1000 data, take the first 100 data, calculate the mean. Second, put that 100 data back, again take the 100 data, calculate the mean. This is the process of bootstrapping. So it start with the bootstrapping of sample with replacement. Now the next step is, after bootstrapping, at each node of the tree we have to select a random sample for the decision making, and this time no pruning is necessary, and we need to repeat this process again and again to grow our forest of trees. And now you will be having the huge number of trees. Now use each tree to classify the new observation. Means every time you will see the observation, you classify them. Clear? And then at the end choose the ultimate classification based on the majority from the forest. And the last method is the penalized regression, where we are using a penalty term, that is the lambda, into our regression result. And the form of the penalized regression is also known as the lasso, that is least absolute shrinkage and selection operator. Least absolute shrinkage and selection operator. So again let us see what are the different methods, tools and techniques we have seen. Starting with the machine learning, we have started with the utilizing the regression. If there is a linear relationship, but what if there is non-linear relationship? We are using the classification and regression tree, cross validation, conditional inference tree, random forest and penalized regression. And we have started with first of all the binomial decision tree, which ended with the logit regression, which is giving us the two output, that is either 0 or 1. But then we shifted from the logit regression to the classification and regression tree. Why? Because logit regression can work only with the smaller data set. So in order to deal with the large data set, we need to have the another model, that is the classification and regression tree. And this can take into account many different variables, but logit regression can only handle only a single variable. But now there is also the problem of overfitting of the data. So in order to solve this issue, we come up with the new method, that is the cross validation, or we call it as a k-fold cross validation, which divides the data into k number of subset. But here we need to prune the data. Okay, we have to use the lambda to reduce the complexity. So it is better to not to prune the data or tune the data. We have chosen the different method, that is the conditional inference tree, where you don't need to prune with the turning parameters. So it includes the 3 steps. First of all, the relationship between the dependent and independent variable, split the variable into 2 data set, then repeat the process until you will be able to isolate the variables into the unique components. Then we come up with the new method, that is the random forest, where we can use the large data set, and it takes into account the concept of bootstrapping. And the last is the penalized regression, where we are using the penalty term, that is the lambda. As we will increase the size of the lambda, the coefficient of the regression will move towards the 0 and they will drop out from the consideration. Now the last LOS is the collaboration between the econometrics and the machine learning. So these are the process of machine learning. Now we are finding out that is there any collaboration between these two. Now there are many ways in which we can use the econometrics with the help of the machine learning. Now what is the econometrics meaning is, it is basically understanding the relationship between the understanding the reason behind the particular effect. So this is the reason we always use the econometrics with the machine learning. So one of the method of econometrics is the time series forecasting tool that we use in the econometrics to analyze the big data. So we are using that with the machine learning. Apart from this, suppose we are using the correlation. So we all know that correlation will not tell us about the causation, but the econometrics will help us to understand the relationship between the correlation as well as the causation. Clear? Suppose the data is showing that there is an increase in the interest rate as well as the increase in the bond price. So if the data is showing this but there is not a proper cause for this, okay, it's not showing the right behavior, this is not the right methodology, so we will use the econometrics with the data as well. Clear? So this is the end of the topic here. Thank you. Hello everyone, we are now starting with a new topic, reading 98, that is machine learning. So we all know that machine learning is a new technique to analyze the data, to interpret the data, to find out the information, and even sometimes it happens that what human will not be able to detect, that machine learning algorithms and process will be able to detect. Now this machine learning algorithms, deep learnings are now employed in financial institution. Even the governments are also using to trace out any illegal activities going on with respect to the payments or with respect to any other transfer of goods and services. What are the needs and demands of the people, means there is a hell lot of data, and now they need a system which can analyze the data, which can interpret the data, can find out something useful from that data, and for that we are using the machine learning. Now understand the word machine learning means it is just going to work like a human. What human do? They learn from their experience. Similarly the machine also learn, they learn from the past data. Means suppose we have fed few things into the data, that's suppose like there is a cat, there is a dog, there is a picture of lion as well. So my machine, I've told the machine that the cat looks like a lion, okay, cat look like a lion. So in that scenario this is something new learned by the system. Now if anyhow in future if they will find somehow tiger, okay, now my system will try to resemble to whom the tiger look likes, whether it's a unique or whether it's matching someone from the system itself. So time to time the machine keeps on learning, the machine keeps on getting updated. So machine learning is one of the field of the artificial intelligence where we use the algorithm, and with the help of the algorithm they will try to find out what the objective of the user of the data is. Now machine learning can be supervised as well as unsupervised machine learning. Now what is this supervised machine learning? This is a statistical model, first point, statistical model, and it can predict the outcome based on the specified input. Means first of all you have to give the inputs, and based on the input it will give you some output. Means suppose I'll give like this, that this is my GDP, this is my interest rate, this is my unemployment rate, what should be the market index of USA. Okay, so based on the input it will identify the output. Then what is unsupervised machine learning? It themselves identify the pattern from the data without giving any kind of the variable. Means it looks for the pattern, and supervised machine learning will take into account the inputs, and based on those input they will find out the output. Means the dependent variable and the independent variable, but in the unsupervised they try to find out any kind of pattern, any kind of relationship among the data. So machine learning is useful in order to identify the pattern, the relationship in the data, as well as it can make out of the sample prediction as well. Previously in the few topics we have seen with respect to the regression there are some issues, but here we can make out of the sample prediction as well. Now what we do to make a perfect model? We actually run it thousands and millions of times so that it can improve. Okay, why? Because we know that it learns from the experience. The more and more experience will give, the more and more better it will become. Now, supervised learning can also analyze the non-parametric and non-linear relationship, and at the end it can give you the inference about the dependent and the independent variable. See, supervised learning approach will take into account the input, but what if the data is non-linear as well as non-parametric? It's okay, it won't mind, but at the end it will give you the inference about the dependent and the independent variable. Now we have the three approaches of the machine learning. What are those three approaches? Regression, classification and clustering. Regression and classification are the part of supervised learning, and clustering is the part of unsupervised learning. Now what is regression? We all know. Inside the regression we have the linear as well as the non-linear. What are those non-linear methods? Penalized regression is the part of non-linear regression. Second is our classification. It make the prediction for the discrete and the dependent variables. And the clustering is the part of unsupervised, so it takes into account all the data without including any dependent variable. Such as if I'll talk about the entry money laundering or terrorism financing, so out of crores of entry, your data don't know which entry belongs to the terrorism or anti money or money laundering. So if there is a new data coming, so it's the duty of the model to identify which amount belongs to the money laundering or financing of terrorism. So they don't have any previous data, they don't have any dependent variable, so how they will find out the value? They find out the value based on the parameters. Now, if you are creating a model, whether it's machine learning or deep learning, there will be some amount of noise, or we call it as a random error. So we cannot say that they are showing the 100% true relationship between the dependent and the independent variable. So there is always a problem of overfitting. And again, if there is a overfitting issues, then the data or the model will not perform well in out of the sample data set. Then we have the concept of bootstrapping. Bootstrapping is that we train our model in such a way that it can detect the fraudulent activities inside the data. Earlier I told you that how I will make my model efficient by giving it trial thousands and millions of times. So what we call it as a bagging. Okay, BAGGING. Bagging means making the trials thousands and millions of times to make my model efficient. Apart from the bagging, we can do one more thing to make our model more efficient by combining my model with some other model. Okay, means I have my model, but I combine my model with some other model. We call it as ensemble. Ensemble. We call it as ensemble, and that will further help to improve the out of the sample predictive capabilities of the model. So what machine learning is actually doing? They are taking the past data into account, and based on those past data, they are trying to predict the future. Now, machine learning basically takes into account the well defined and the structured database. But what if your database is not well defined and if it is not structured? For that we use the deep learning, means we call it as the advanced version of the machine learning. And deep learning is something that mimics the human brain. Okay, means there were the several layers of the algorithm, and we train them in such a way that they will convert the raw data into a pattern. Okay, and from those pattern they can identify the relevant information. The example of the deep learning is the face recognition. Okay, the language understanding models are the deep learning methods. And these deep learning algorithms are trained in such a way that even they can trace out the emotions of the people involved. So they are extremely complex, and they require several millions and hundreds of millions of data set in order to be properly trained. Now, the use of machine learning and deep learning is very huge. And if you look at the financial institution, the banking companies, and even the non-financial institution are using the machine learning in their process. And basically, it includes the stress testing, reporting on liquidity measures, capital, collateral. All these are the different applications of machine learning. So they need to structure their data, they need to analyze the data, and at the end they need to interpret the data, and their aim is to improve the quality of supervisory data. So if my data is well structured, I will be using the machine learning. But if my data is not of well structured, very low quality and high frequency, we are going to use the deep learning and neural networks. Also, this is helpful in detecting the fraud and credit risk, revenue modeling, surveillance of conduct and market abuse in tradings. Now, in the surveillance of conduct or market assume, it include to detect the rock trading or insider trading or any breach of activities which are prohibited by the regulatory authorities. So it's their duty to identify them as early as possible because they can make the material impact on the financial market of the economy, and it can also damage the reputational position of the organization. Now, algorithms will not only monitor the trade, but it also monitor the behavior, okay, the time at which you are trading, and the entire portfolio is also analyzed along with the email of that particular client, calendar items, phone calls, check-in, check-out, all the details will be mapped together, and if it makes sense that they are trying to manipulate the market, they will be suspected. So if there is any deviation from the normal pattern, it will give an alarm to the financial compliance team. Now, next important point is that when we will incorporate the human decision with the machine learning, it can really improve the data and the information which we are getting from the data. Next important point is that when I am incorporating the machine learning system into my financial institution, I find it difficult. Why? Because of the legal complexity of sharing the past breach information with the developers. Now, what is big data? Big data will be having the huge amount of large volume. The quality of the data will be very low, high frequency, and it is unstructured data. Next, money laundering is difficult to define, and the financial institution, they don't have the enough feedback from the law enforcement agencies that which transaction are truly fraudulent. So if they don't know about the transaction which are fraudulent, which deals with the money laundering or financing of terrorism, so how they will give the instruction to their model that this kind of the data are fraudulent? So it is very difficult to do the uh, money laundering tracing activities. Okay, so I end this topic here. Thank you.